Hello, beautiful people. Today is 17th of August. My name is Sahil and welcome to Newspaper Analysis. Friends, today into the GS Fodder, we will be taking a quote from the great Mother Teresa. She says, "We think sometimes that poverty is only being hungry, naked, and homeless. The poverty of being unwanted, unloved, and uncared for is the biggest poverty. We must start in our homes to remedy this kind of poverty." Now guys, this is the societal poverty which is being talked about. See, there is two types of poverty. There could be an economic poverty and a societal poverty, and societal poverty is manifested into the ignoration and neglection of a specific section of society. And the basis for such neglection could be caste, could be religion, could be gender, or could be anything. And such kind of societal poverty is one on which we have control as a society. And guys, such kind of societal poverty is never tolerated onto the ethical considerations. So as a part of the responsible society, it is our responsibility that the justice should be done so that such societal poverty can be removed. And the remedy starts from the home. It means that we should go into a behavior where we embrace the people and love them irrespective of the differences. So guys, this quote is very important, can be used into the topics of GS paper number 1, into the social harmony, can be used into the GS paper number 4, which talks about the ethical conducts of the society. So guys, that's it, and now let's go to the newspaper analysis. Now, guys, first of all, let's take the overview of the entire newspaper first. But before that, I would like to apologize because on 14th of August, the PDF was delayed, and yesterday's PDF has also been delayed. Friends, right now there are huge crises into the professional and personal life that are going on, and I am still trying to keep up the pace and to keep up with the initiative. Guys, see, I came into this particular field because I had seen that onto the online mechanism the newspaper analysis which has been given is not up to the quality, and into the name of analysis just the passive reading has been there. I wanted to break that notion, so just out of passion I came into this particular field. And if there will be any laxity, you please understand that it will never be because I am being laxed. It is because there are some compulsions that are going on, but still I will try my very best that such kind of things don't happen. Moreover, friends, see, I'm not a very big institution with the deep pockets and millions of rupees. I am an individual creator who has to do everything from recording, research, analysis, editing, PDF making, everything I had to do on myself, and that too before 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Guys, I try very best, but there could be concerns, problems sometime. So please try to understand, but I will make sure that such kind of thing never happens. And I am working on some other things also which you will be getting to know till tomorrow. So guys, that's it. Now let's take the newspaper analysis. The first news is with respect to the saliva test. So guys, in that particular direction, GS2 and GS4 implications will be seeing here. Then guys, the next news here, we can see that the zoos in Kolkata and Darjeeling, they are now going online due to the pandemic of COVID-19. So guys, just as a reference, you can see this thing. Details are not that much important. Now the laborers are returning back. So with respect to the society, with respect to the economy, we will be seeing some very good dimensions here. Then guys, moving forward, here you can see that OTP has been mentioned. Now guys, though not important, but as a reference could give very good value addition to your answer. So we'll see this thing a very good example. Then guys, moving forward, here you can see that nothing important. The zoos are going online, already I told you. Then guys, coming to the editorial page, so this particular editorial talks about the contempt. We'll see that what has happened here. Then guys, this editorial article is a personal attack onto the prime minister, that he has just used the 15th August as a political propaganda, not at all required for your exam. Please refrain from it. Then guys, this article is giving a philosophical dimension into the idea of freedom. Very good, can nicely be incorporated into the essays and GS paper number 4. Now guys, this article is talking generalistically about the Independence Day announcements which have been made, but yesterday we had excellently covered the entire issue. So guys, please do look at a lot of research I have given to this thing. Then guys, this particular article talks at how the TNA party has failed into the Sri Lanka and how it has not kept the promises. Guys, not that clearly important for our exam. Then guys, this particular article talks about the importance of dissent. So we'll be seeing this thing. Then guys, moving forward, the flood regional issues have been given, not important. Then guys, parliament has been mentioned here. So guys, with respect to the elected autocracy, we will be seeing the article 85 and the issues associated in this particular respect. Then guys, moving, the RTI and the PMO issue has been mentioned. So with respect to the transparency, we'll see the important concerns. Then guys, India as a elected autocracy, we'll see how and why it is being said about. Then guys, education plus, no good important articles have been given here today. Then moving forward onto the world page, we can see that the US elections etc are going on now guys. Here the Mauritius oil spill has been mentioned. So with respect to the UPSC way forward etc, we'll see this thing. Then guys, money wise page, not important for our UPSC exam. Then the sports page also, there is nothing important. So that's it guys, and now let's take the newspaper analysis in detail. Now guys, starting up, so first news here we can see is that the FDA has given a approval to the rapid and inexpensive saliva test. Now guys, it could be a major breakthrough. Why? We'll understand this thing. First of all, right now if we see the testing, then majorly there are the RT-PCR test and the serological test. Now you might have heard about the antibody test. So these antibody test comes under the category of the serological test only. Now both of these testing measures are more invasive, as the samples which they take, they tend to be little bit harmful, they tend to be uneasy, and they are needed to be carried by some skilled health professional. For example, RT-PCR takes the nasopharyngeal swabs. They take two swab, one from your nose region, other from your throat region. Secondly, the serological test, majorly they take the blood sample. Now guys, what happens, self administered tests are not possible here right now. Therefore the new way of testing, that is the saliva direct, has been talked about here, where just a saliva sample is to be taken. And because of this particular thing, self administered sample collection is possible. It means that in a very less number of time, large number of people who are into the quarantine or who are feeling that they are getting the symptoms, they can take their own self assessment. And not only this, this particular test has also shown the highest sensitivity. Now, you might have heard the reports that many a times the false negatives are given into these tests. Why? Because many a time the viral load is very low into the sample and the tests are unable to catch it. But into the saliva direct test that we are talking, it carries even very minute viral load, and therefore they are more precise, and sensitivity to up to 94% is being given by this particular saliva test, which is the highest. Now see, this particular test has been given an emergency approval by the Food and Drug Administration USA. Now emergency use authorization is given during the times of the public health emergency, under which the process of licensing as well as permission is little bit fast tracked. Now guys, if we talk about India, then in India also such a test could be given an emergency use authorization, and that thing will be done by the CDSCO in India, that is the Central Drug Standard Control Organization, which works under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And such emergency use authorizations we have already given for drugs such as to the remdesivir. Now guys, see, the implication of this particular thing is huge, because as we in India we are reaching nearly 2.5 million mark into the number of cases, and world over the same trend is also going on. So therefore, to control this pandemic, we need more and more testing, and not only more testing, effective testing. So therefore such a method will be helping in that particular direction. Now guys, one more dimension we will discuss here, that is of ethics. See, this particular test has been developed by the Yale School of Public Health and the NBA, that is the National Basketball Association of US, and they have provided this technology as an open source technology. It means that any NGO who wants to make a kit onto the basis of such technology in free, they can use such type of technology. However, the pharmaceutical companies, they need to take a license from them, and the condition of license giving is such that they need to pledge that they will be making the testing kit as cheap as possible and will be providing to the people onto a affordable cost and to everyone without any discrimination. Now guys, such a breakthrough without any monetary compensation or money monitoring benefit reflects the value of morality over commerce, which is needed right now given the times of the pandemic. And it has also been talked, just if you remember few days back, that vaccine nationalism is also coming. So by keeping such a open source, such a notion of vaccine nationalism will also be broken, because all around the world pharmaceutical companies will be able to take use of such kind of technology, and these kind of things are appreciated in these times. You can use it as a reference into the GS paper number 4, where we talk about the bioethics, organizational ethics, or corporate ethics. So guys, that's all about this particular issue. Now we'll move to next. Now guys, this particular article though provides the accounts of the people who are returning back their personal stories, though they are not important for our exam. But guys, here a very important dimension opens up, which could be very well asked into the UPSC in GS paper number 1, 2 or 3, any of them. Now guys, see, I will make certain links, try to identify them with me. See, into any developing nation, we see a tendency of the urbanization where the rural people migrate to the urban areas, and here there are the pull factors as well as the push factors which are working, which are at play. First of all, into the rural areas, often there is no economic viability, then there are no opportunities for the self growth, and thirdly, the opportunities or the life standard which is aimed is also not available. So therefore, with rural life pushes the people, it is a push factor. At the same time, city life provides anonymity to the people, provides a kind of an economic sustainability, and provides opportunity for the self growth. So they are the pull factors, and they lead to the urbanization. Now guys, this thing happened in India also, but as the pandemic started, what happened? A reverse migration was seen, and all the pull and push factors were shattered, and people migrated to the rural areas. What was the fundamental reason? Now fundamental reason is that in India, society is more strong than the state. It means that into the times of existential crisis, the people might not trust the state, might not trust the government, but they trust that their society, that their tribe will accept them, and into the times of crisis they will stick them with them together. By the way guys, here in this particular line we can see that we have used the anupras alankar, that is the S and S used 3 times. So by the way, into the sentence formations, if you want to show the gravity of any particular line, you should also use this particular thing. Some basic lessons from the school education, by the way. Now guys, when they reach to the villages, they found that the family is even more stronger than the society, even more important than the society. How such a realization came? There were no economic opportunities, the survival of the family became impossible, and now even at the cost of existential crisis, they are returning back to the cities, back to the urban centers, and now they have a make a peace that whatsoever comes, we need to accept the reality of the pandemic. So guys, when these people are returning back in so large numbers, now this is an opportunity at 2 3 levels. First of all, it is an opportunity that this particular notion could be corrected. And how this could be corrected? State needs to can make a bond between the urban migrants, laborers, as well as between the economy. First of all, what we can do, we can rectify the labor codes which are pending. By the way guys, the labor code on wages has already been passed, but still the labor code on industrial relation, occupational safety, and social security are not going on to the swift path. So first is that they should be rectified, and enough of safeguards should be provided to the workers. After that, there is need to focus on to the MSME revival, because this is the setup which absorbs most of these workers. Then guys, at the same time, we also need to take care about their survival, and in that particular direction. The schemes such as one nation, one ration card, subsidized canteens should be made so that their nutritional security when they are returning back can be taken care of. After that, guys, onto the lines of MG Narega rural, there could also be an MG Narega urban, so that for the time they don't find the employment into the MSMEs or organized sector, they could be involved there. After that, guys, now we also need to make sure that legislation such as the Interstate Workmen Act 1979, which provided the security to these people, have failed. And even the legislations such as the Unorganized Workers Social Security Act 2008 has also failed and has not provided them any benefit during the times of crisis. So therefore we need to make sure that now when the labor code on the social security will be passed, no such kind of problem comes into the future. So guys, all these are the attachments into the past few days that has happened. So if a question onto the labor into the society comes, please focus on these dimensions, and if it on economy comes, then please focus onto these dimensions. So that's it. Now we'll move to next. Now, friends, here with the help of this particular news, we will see one important dimension which could be used as a reference in bringing the organizational efficiency into the government, as well as it can also be used to bring welfare of one particular section of people. Here we are talking about children. In other sections also it can be utilized. Now, guys, see, into the Delhi police there is a criteria called as OTP criteria. It means that out of turn promotions. Now such kind of promotions are given when a person does some extraordinary kind of work. Now guys, into the Delhi police, if a constable or a head constable is successful in recovery of 50 missing children in a year, then he can receive an out of turn promotion. Now guys, such a thing is very good, as in India often we see that the departments, law enforcement agencies, they suffer with an organizational apathy. It means that they develop a kind of an attitude against the work, they develop a kind of an attitude which goes against the prescribed duty of their service. Now, to solve this organizational apathy, two approaches are needed. That is the approach of the carrot and stick. Carrot means that they need to be provided enough of incentives so that they turn motivated, and OTP can be a carrot. And the stick is that there needs to be enough of accountability, and they need to be tagged with their responsibility, and if they fail to perform, there needs to be the proper mechanism for that also. So this thing is needed. However, guys, with the help of this news, we will see that often government though installs such kind of mechanism but fails to implement them successfully. Now see what has happened. In Delhi police, the OTP criteria is that the 50 missing children should be traced within 12 months. Now such a target is so ambitious that it rather works contrary. Due to such overwhelming target, it looks unachievable and no effort at all is taken, and guys, organizational apathy continues. So now the Delhi High Court has said that such a thing needs to be reconsidered, and some practical targets need to be taken so that actually a person fight for achieving that particular target. So guys, that is a particular thing. And now see, such kind of targets could be tagged for the women, could be tagged for the vulnerable section, could be tagged for the other areas and in other departments also. So just as a reference we can use it. However, we don't need to go into the nitty gritties of this particular case. Now guys, this is a case where a father has filed a plea that the police is not taking action, and then this particular matter came. However, that is not important, the concept is important. So that's it. Now we'll move to next. Now friends, we are into the editorial section, and this editorial is a little bit philosophical into its outlook. And see, every year into your essay paper, one of the essay comes onto the philosophical perspective. And guys, I had often seen that many of students lack that kind of sensitivity into the essays, and even into the philosophical essays they tend to be factual, which is not appreciated. Now, this particular article is giving some philosophical idea behind the notion of the freedom, so that we will be seeing, and such a thing could be utilized into GS paper number 2, essay very evidently and into some notions in GS paper number 4 governance topics. Now guys, starting up, see, we all often talk about the concept of the Ram Rajya whenever when we are talking about the good governance and what actually is Ram Rajya. So guys, the Tulsidas who wrote the Ramayan, he said that Ram Rajya is a concept where the people, they will live without any fear, without any sorrow, without any disease. And Gandhi ji was so inspired by the Tulsidas's idea of Ram Rajya that he wanted that the universal consciousness of our country should be such that we should all live in harmony, just like a Ram Rajya. Everybody should feel free, should feel empowered, should feel that he had a qualitative stake into the state. Now, friends, the notion of Ram Rajya has a fundamental aim or the foundation, that is, everybody should be free, everybody should enjoy freedom. Now, guys, everybody should enjoy freedom. It means that right now we are not having the freedom, therefore we are aspiring for that particular thing. So what is the foundation? Right now we are bound by the law. Now this is not the legal law. What does a law means? See, everybody's behavior, every phenomena on this earth is guided by certain regulation. That regulation is law. Moreover, there is one particular quality of law that it always repeats into the same way. For example, an apple seed will be giving birth to a apple fruit, and it will never give birth to a mango or to any other fruit. Similarly, fish has a quality that it can swim, it can't fly. Eagle has a quality that it can fly, it can't swim. So guys, the conditions of our life, the nature, everything is guided by the laws. And guys, here an idea develops that when everything is guided by law, everything is predetermined, how we can find the freedom. So here we will take example of an analogy from the rope. Suppose you take a rope and you tie a knot in between the rope. Now knot will think that it is the law, it is destined that I will always be like this. But the one who had bound this knot, he knows that whenever he wants, he can untie the knot, and the knot can be made free as it was earlier. It can go to its original state. Now guys, what happens? We the human beings, we are always be like this particular knot. We always accept that there are certain laws which have bound us, but actually that is not the case, because all these laws are applicable to the material aspect. Now guys, see this particular thing. A human body is made up of three things. One is the hardware is the matter, the body, the skin, the skeleton, all this structure is the hardware. Then there is a software is your consciousness, which we also call as mind. And the third is that we also have a atma. So atma is the spiritual aspect of your body. So what happens? We take that laws are there which always guide our behavior, but these laws are only applicable to the material aspect, that is to the hardware of your body. And guys, your spirit or your atma is actually untouched by these laws. So we need to realize that actually we are free, because guys, the more bigger purpose, the more end purpose or more finer entity is your soul only, not your material body. It is subject to destruction, but the ultimate thing is your atma or your spirit. So we need to realize our this original form, that is our spiritual form. We need to know our spirit. And guys, therefore it talks about the adhyatma means the awareness of one self. So one need to go into the spirituality, and when the person will know about his true nature, that he is more than this body, he is about the spirit, he is about the consciousness, he will get the true freedom. He will live in the light of its thought. Now guys, what happens? Traditionally we think that freedom is only about having the large number of choices. You should have hundreds of shirts so that you can have a freedom to choose one. You should have hundreds of items onto a menu so that you have a freedom to choose one item of that menu. But that is actually not the freedom. Such choices only gives the confusion. Such choices only makes your life more miserable. However, the true freedom is that when you identify your true self, your true being, and when you will realize your true self, you will also realize that your self is devoid of any labels. Yourself is not attached with any political party, any political ideology, with any particular religion, with anything. It was only your body which was attached. And when you will be realizing the true nature of self, you will feel free, you will feel liberated. So guys, often we humans, we don't have the knowledge about our true self. We have a body and we think that always we will be living. We don't know that we are actually the mortal beings, and we fail to realize our true self, and because of this we always are in a kind of a bondage. Guys, further see the journey of Ram Rajya to Swarajya. It is actually a continuum. We are always going towards the Swarajya, but our journey will be fast or will be successful only when we will realize the true nature. And when we apply this principle into the polity, then guys, we see that we have a preamble, and the preamble has such good ideas. It talks about justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. Now if we realize all these ideas, then we obviously be attaining the Ram Rajya or a kind of Swarajya, but we are not able to realize it. Why? Because we have never realized the true meaning of these words. Also, we are always attached with the kind of identity, politics of identity. We are always attached with some political notions. We are always divided by the religious ideologies. So the thing is that we need to detach from this particular thing if we want to achieve the true freedom. So guys, these are some philosophical ideas which have been given here. You need to go little bit deeper in order to understand this particular thing from the factual thinking which we have been accustomed to. So guys, that's it, a very good article. Now we'll move to next. Now, guys, a couple of days back, we had seen that the Supreme Court has finally decided onto the case of a contempt which was going on against the advocate Prashant Bhushan, and there Supreme Court had found Prashant Bhushan guilty. So in that particular aspect, I had clubbed here two articles which are talking about the importance of the descent into the democracy. Now, see, the Supreme Court, when it found Prashant Bhushan guilty into the contempt, it had shown that the culture of poor tolerance of criticism is going into the Indian system, particularly the judiciary. Now, guys, see, the contempt power is very much important in order to keep judiciary independent, but we need to identify that where actually contempt needs to be given and where it should not be given. Into civil cases, contempt is justified, but the criminal contempt is something which is controversial. Now guys, if I talk about the present case, then advocate Prashant Bhushan issued a series of tweets. In one of the tweet, he posted the photograph of the Chief Justice of India with a very expensive motorbike and questioned his personal conduct. Now guys, when into the tweet he himself is asking about the personal conduct, a question is raised that how it is the scandalization of the entire judiciary. So it has been said that even the Supreme Court had earlier said that the criminal contempt will be when the entire institution will be scandalized. So it has said that such a case doesn't holds the ground in this particular tweet. After that, guys, one more tweet was issued where the Prashant Bhushan questioned the conduct of the four CJIs and had said that they had led to the destruction of democracy even without a formal emergency. So this particular tweet was also treated as something which is scandalizing the judiciary. Now, guys, in this particular respect, see, it has been said that the tweet issued is a kind of a political opinion, and such a political opinion is not only unique to the Prashant Bhushan. Even there are the testimonies of the judges of the Supreme Court where they had believed that by holding the political office, a scandalization of judiciary comes. And now, guys, here we can take the example of the former Chief Justice of India, Ranjan Gogoi, who has been nominated as the MP into the Rajya Sabha. So, guys, it has been said that the former CGI might be working under the political influence and the patronage he has now received. So, when even judiciary believes that many a times there are certain personalities which conduct the destruction of democracy, and if the same thing is said into the tweet, then it should not be treated as a contempt. So these are the opinions which has been given. Now there is a very good reference which we can use here, and the reference is from the Albert O. Hirschman's books Exit, Voice and Loyalty. Now in this particular book he says that exit and voice are very important tools to repair the institutions into a society. And here we can take certain examples of the exit and voice. See, when an employer is leaving his company and going to other firm because of a better working condition, he is exercising an exit. When somebody is changing the neighborhood, they are exercising an exit, and exit is taken for the better condition. So it shows that how the institution is beyond repair. And similarly, I can give you the example of voice. So when a partner into a marriage complains about the domestic abuse, he is raising or she is raising a voice. After that, when the workers are complaining about the management's conduct, they are also raising the voice. So both exit and voice brings the change, because guys, when the voice will be raised, the complaints will be heard and a reform can come. And when the exit is being made, then the person who will be left behind, he will think about his conduct. And both are them very important, because see, if there will only be voice and no exit, then there is no benefit into that particular thing. And if always the exit will be easy, then nobody will raise the voice. So both are the important aspects to bring reform into the society. Now guys, the voice and exit is very much vivid during the time of elections. Here the people, they are switching, the legislators are changing the political party, voters are going for voting to other political parties. So it is very much evident. Now it has been said that guys, into certain institutions such as a family, state, there is only one thing which is more important, that is voice. Because you can't simply leave, you can't simply leave the nation even if you are dissatisfied. And similarly, when we talk about judiciary, here also the voice is very much important. Now guys, see, judiciary itself has used the voice and had brought many meaningful legislative reforms. For example, it had provided that all the school children should be provided the meals. So it was a judicial initiative, and we can see that how today the children are having the benefit, the problem of malnutrition is being solved. Now guys, when judiciary used this voice to bring the legislative reform, in turn judiciary itself was dependent on to the other voices. There were the NGOs which were telling that so much of food grain is rotting into the FCI and they are not being given to the children for as a meal. Judiciary itself was dependent on to the voice which was raised by the NGO and brought the legislative reforms. Now guys, it is a question that when others are raising the voice against the judiciary, why such voice is being killed? Rather killing it, judiciary should ponder that what are the ways in which the conduct reforms could be brought. So guys, in this particular direction there needs to be a consideration. So that's it, a very good important philosophy of exit and voice has been given. Please do utilize them into the other answers also. So that's it, now we'll move to next. Now friends, this particular article talks about that parliament will be meeting soon and some safety measures are being taken. However guys, with the excuse of this particular article, we will see certain important other concepts also. So into a representative democracy, functioning of the legislatures, meeting of the legislative houses is very much important, so that deliberations can be made onto the important matters. Now guys, in this particular direction, we have article number 85 into our constitution, which provides that there should not be gap of more than 6 months between the meeting of both the houses, that is the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. And article 85 gives the responsibility onto the president that he needs to summon the house within the gap of 6 months. Now guys, there is a little bit history also in this particular thing. This provision we have taken from the Government of India Act 1935 to regularly convene. However, this particular act provides that the house should meet once in a year. When the Constitution of India was being drafted and in 1949 into the Constituent Assembly debates, B.R. Ambedkar raised a point that the objective of the British government was to convene the house so that they can discuss the revenue collection matters. But as we are more representative democracy which we are going to become, we need that house should be convened faster. So the 6 months period was imposed. Now guys, there have been so much of time that the house has not been convened and there are important legislative matters which are to be discussed. And here, if you will allow me, I will introduce one more article. So guys, here the Justice AP Shah, the retired Chief Justice of Delhi High Court, has said that because of a non-meeting of the parliament, we are turning to an elected autocracy, which goes against the idea of the representative democracy, which has been the rule of our Indian constitution. Now guys, what has happened? On March 23rd, the budget session was adjourned sine die, and since then the parliament has turned into a ghost town and no meetings have taken place. Now guys, our other countries have adopted for the virtual meeting of their parliament, but in India even that thing has not taken place. And what happened is that cabinet is becoming the all powerful body, and various social activists has said here that that the government is using the opportunity to push through the policies which are very much controversial, and it is being done even into an undemocratic way. Now guys, we had many times discussed about the EIA 2020 which is coming, and then there are other particular matters also which are being pushed either by the way of ordinance or by the way of executive directions, which is not appreciated. So therefore, in order to avoid the concept of elected democracy, there needs to be urgent initiation of the parliamentary sessions. Now guys, as I had earlier also talked about the virtual sessions, they could have been possible in India also, but the initiatives have not been taken. But now the parliament might be assembling into the physical format, and a large number of measures are being taken. Now guys, when we talk about these measures, so these measures are such as the installation of the ultra-violent germicidal irradiation system, so that they can kill the pathogens which are there, the COVID-19 virus, into the air. After that, there will be the polycarbonate separators. It will be a kind of a sheet which will be installed between the members, and after that there will be the abidance of the physical distancing norms. So guys, in this particular way, we can see that parliament is now deciding to go into the sessions. But now guys, a question comes here, even because of such arrangements which are now being taken. The question is that, is it due to the constitutional sanction imposed by Article 85? Because even if we see the 6 month duration, then the parliament has to convene before the September 23rd. Or is it a kind of a moral obligation or moral step which parliament has taken on its own? So that raises questions onto the political conduct of the government. So guys, this could be a very important thought provoking dimension. However guys, the factual informations which has been given here, such as the ultraviolet irradiation systems, these could be also used into the schools, into other government offices, and other ways also. Further guys, throughout the article, the sitting arrangement has been explained. It has been said that the members will be sitting into the Rajya Sabha chambers, Lok Sabha chambers, and they will also be using the galleries along with the screens. There will be the placards that will be listing the names of the political parties and the members as who will be sitting where. However, such kind of things are not important. You need to understand the conceptual dimension. So that's it. Now we'll move to next. Now guys, this particular article pertains to an important topic in GS2, that is transparency. Now guys, a lot of controversy is surrounding around the PM Cares Fund and the conduct of the Prime Minister's office into the last few days. First of all guys, starting from the start, we all know that the PM Cares Fund was announced into the aftermath of COVID-19, and people donated generously into this particular fund. However, an RTI was made that how much money was actually received into this fund and where it has been utilized. Now guys, RTI was made under the Right to Information Act 2005. But what happened? The information with respect to the fund was not provided, because it was said that PM Cares is 100% charitable trust, and under the RTI only information for the public authority can be made. But as PM Cares is not a public authority, the information cannot be given. So guys, because of this particular thing, first of all, a question mark onto the transparency was raised. Now one more issue had came into the PMO office. RTI was made with respect to two things. Number one, it was asked that how many RTI has been in total disposed by the PMO. So on that particular thing, the response was given. But one more RTI was made, and the question was raised that how many RTIs actually with respect to the PM Cares and the Prime Minister's National Relief Fund has been released. But guys, on to this particular matter, the Prime Minister's office had said that we can't disclose this information. Why? Because the information has not been compiled, and they had used the section number 7(9) of the RTI Act. Now, guys, section 7(9) is very important. It says that an information shall ordinarily be provided in the form in which it is sought, unless it would disproportionately divert the resources of the public authority or would be detrimental to the safety or preservation of the record in question. Now, what does it mean into the normal language? It means that if we have organized the information, we will provide, but if the information is not compiled and if a large number of resource will be taken to compile and provide, then the information can be denied. But you know that such a thing doesn't goes with the values of transparency, and it completely defeats the objective of the RTI Act. And guys, even in 2010, the Kerala High Court has clearly said that onto the pretext of section number 7 subclause 9, the information cannot be denied. But this has now been invoked here, which is a kind of a contravention to the judicial ruling, as well as even with the values of openness it doesn't goes. So guys, very importantly, we can use it into the GS paper number 2 instances where we are talking about the transparency issues. So that's it. Now we'll go to next. Now, guys, this article talks about the breakdown of a carrier ship around Mauritius. Now, guys, MK Wakashio, it is a Japanese ship which is going from China to Brazil and was carrying a huge load of oil. Now, guys, when it was underway, it struck a reef around the Mauritius, and even it has broken in two parts. Now, guys, a large oil spill has been caused here. Oil has been leaked. Now, guys, it is a particular matter of concern because the region where it has occurred, it is a very ecologically sensitive and an ecologically fragile region. Guys, it lies around the Blue Bay Marine Park, which is a protected marine ecosystem, and it is also a wetland of international importance. Moreover, guys, into the region there are large number of endangered species which are living. Therefore, the Mauritius had declared the environmental emergency, and guys had even appealed the France that they should come and should help into this particular effort. Now, guys, see, this is actually a very big thing, and we know that it will cause huge damage to the fragile marine ecology. Now, guys, as a part of UPSC, what could be the solutions in this particular direction? So solutions could be like this. They can use sorbents. Now, sorbents, the sponges are used so that they can absorb the oil, and then they could the spill could be reduced. After that, there could be the use of the chemical dispersants. Now, guys, these are the chemical agent which breaks down the oil into the simpler components, and then they are not that much harmful. After that, there could be the in situ burning, where the patches of oil they are burned so that they don't actually cause the chemical damage, but it might also lead to the destruction of the species which are living there. Then there are the natural actions. That is, guys, sometimes the location is such that by natural actions such as withering, evaporation, emulsification, biodegradation, automatically the oil spill the impact is reduced. But this last one is not actually that much preferable. So, guys, these are certain ways, and there have been large number of other deadly oil spills also, and the largest oil spill which has been caused till date was the Persian Gulf oil spill, which occurred in 1991. But this one was a kind of a deliberate attempt because at that point of time the Persian war was going on. However, guys, the largest accidental oil spill has been occurred in 2010 into the Gulf of Mexico, where the oil spill continued for 87 days continuously. So, guys, these are certain prominent examples. If a question comes, you can utilize them also. This is the solution. So that's it, friends. I hope you have understood it, and that's it. Now we'll move to the question section. Friends, please pause the video and try to answer the question. Question number first is with respect to the Unnat Bharat Abhiyan. Now, guys, please read the statement and identify the correct code. Question number 2 is with respect to certain tiger reserve areas and protected regions. Please read the statement and identify the incorrect code. Question number 3 is with respect to the PM Swanidhi scheme. Please read the statement and identify the correct code. Now guys, question number 4 is with respect to the Agricultural Infrastructure Fund. Please consider the following statements and identify the correct code. Now guys, the main question for today. It is a 10 marker question and pertains to the GS paper number 4 ethics. So question says that the idea of freedom is not only a political idea, rather it has a normative dimension as well, which is deeply talked in Indian philosophical traditions. Highlight such a normative idea of the freedom. Now guys, a normative means a value based thing. So guys, with respect to GS paper number 4, such a question could be asked. So please write it. So that's it friends. I hope you are liking the discussion. Thank you so much.